Everyone, let's start with the first lecture of our animal sciences series. So this lecture is basically going to be about two things. Firstly, we will see how to use these lectures and notes, and secondly we will be discussing about the unit 1 of extension lectures. So let's start. So what are the prerequisites for these lectures? Read tips and tricks to crack ICAR examination that has been created by me. So it will give you a basic idea of what the examination is all about and what the examiner is going to ask, and what are the repetitions or the pattern in the ICAR examination. What are the things you need to do and what are the things you need to avoid. You will get a very good idea from reading this PDF. This is basically 2 or 3 pages PDF. Read it line by line. And for any queries, mail me at bhupender98703. This mail is always open for you. You can mail me at any time, and I will try to respond in the minimum possible time. Then what are the contents of these lectures that we are providing you? So we will provide you unit-wise lectures and notes of all the important topics from which previously question has been asked in the ICAR examination, and almost 80 to 90% of the question in the past has been asked from the topics that we will be covering in this series. And so you will get a very basic idea and very good idea of what the examination will ask you, and after each unit we will provide you with all the relevant questions that could be asked from that particular unit. So do practice that. And what are the expectations from you? Firstly, proper listen to this lecture, have a notebook and pen with you, maintain a separate notebook for this lecture, write down everything that has been taught in these lectures, and then try to solve maximum MCQs from all the books available and even the app, Quizpedia app. So do that, and try to write down any additional information related to that topic you got. For example, today we are studying unit 1 of extension. So firstly read this lecture, write down that in a separate notebook, solve maximum MCQs related to that topic, and write down any additional information related to that topic. Then continuously update and revise this notebook and share your feedback at bhupender98703. This is my mail ID. So we are firstly starting with the veterinary and animal husbandry extension education. It basically has 9 units. Today we are going to cover unit 1 of it. So unit 1 has basically 2 important topics. First is the domestication and second is farming types and system. These are the 2 topics from which questions are asked from the unit 1 only. So in domestication, these are 4 to 5 domestication dates basically. So dog is the first domesticated animal that has been domesticated 12 to 14,000 BCE, that is before Christ era, in Central Europe and Eurasia. Similarly, sheep in 9000 BC, cattle in 6000, horse in 4 to 5000, fowl in 2000 BC in Indus Valley. And artificial hatching was started 4000 years ago. And then they basically ask about the primitive man used which family for food. That primitive man used Bovidae family for food. Then most used domesticated animal by the Eskimo, they are basically living in the areas where there is a heavy snowfall. So they have husky. Chicken was domesticated basically from red jungle fowl. That is Gallus gallus is the scientific name of red jungle fowl. This is also could be asked. Then what are the types of farming basically? So we have specialized farming where more than 50% of income from a single enterprise. So if that enterprise fails, then the farmer is always in the loss. So it is the riskiest farming in all types of farming. Then we have mixed and diversified farming. So basically mixed and diversified farming are more or less similar. The main difference in these two is that the livestock must contribute at least 10% of gross income in case of mixed farming, but this is not a condition in the diversified farming. If an area is receiving less than 50 centimeter annual rainfall, then that farming done in the area is known as dry farming. If the annual rainfall is more, then we practice wetland, irrigated or garden land farming. For example, sericulture is an example of it. And then we have intensive and extensive farming. So for example, we are producing 10 quintal of wheat, and if we have to increase the production of wheat, we have 2 options. First is the increasing the area under production. That was an old technique, so that was extensive farming. if we have the area of land is limited and we are using high yielding varieties of seeds, we are using new machineries and better technology and new managemental practices in that limited area to improve the production, that farming is known as intensive farming. Then we have ranching over pastoral, so we use of pasture land. In subsistence farming, the farmer grows for him and his own family, not for sale in the market. Then a little bit about the organic farming. So Sikkim is the first fully organic state of India. Madhya Pradesh has the largest area under the organic certification. Silvi means growing of forestry trees, and integrated farming is done to increase production per unit area, cost and time. So that is the use of integrated farming. Then we have the various systems of farming. So first is the cooperative batter. Cooperative batter farming is the type of farming which we see in almost all parts of India, where all individuals of that area have their own ownership and their operationship, but they grow a similar kind of crop in that particular area. Then we have cooperative joint, where the individual puts their resources and work collectively. So ownership lies in the individual hands, but the operationship of that farm or that patch of land is collective. Cooperative tenant, so one among the farmers takes the land on the rental basis. So ownership is collective, but the operationship will depend on the individual who has taken the land on the rental basis. Then we have cooperative collective farming, where everyone owns the land and everyone works collectively on that. So ownership and operationship both are collective in this. In the peasant farming, we have few acres of land which are owned by a farmer who manages it and who takes all decisions related to that farm. So ownership and operationship both are individual in this. Capitalistic farming is basically farming practiced by the rich people. So they are owning, for example, the tea and coffee farming in India. So they are owning very large farms in India, and they are hiring labor on that, and they are doing the farming. It is also known as estate farming. It is practiced in the Western countries. Ownership and operationship are both dependent on those rich individuals who are owning the land. Then we have collective farming, also known as kolkhozes. It is in the countries which are communist, like the China and Russia, and where individuals have no system in their voice, no voice in their system. And then we have ownership and operationship, both are in the hands of society. In state farming, we see in our veterinary universities and agriculture universities the area that is net shown area that is not profitable, and the ownership lies within the state and operationship lies within the paid management. That is, they hire the laborers on the contractuals, or they are having permanent staff for that. So this is all about those two important topics, that is domestication and systems and types of farming. I think this is sufficient in the unit 1 to do, not more than that and not less than that. After doing this, write down everything, solve the MCQs related to it. We are also providing you MCQ, and you can also use many other sources like the books that are available, objective books that are available. So I hope you will learn something. If you have any feedback or you have any queries, you can message me at my mail ID. So thank you, have a nice day. Tomorrow we will do the second unit of our extension lectures.